$6. Yeah, but just don't eat the lettuce. Don't eat the lettuce.
Oh, yeah.
You can't trust anything you see, you know.
Call to order this meeting of the St. Augustine Port Waterway and Beach District for July 21st, 2026. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Rivers, would you like to offer an invocation?
Let's pray. Dear Father in heaven, we ask you to invoke your blessings upon our meeting today, and let us make decisions for the betterment of the St. Augustine Port Waterway and Beach District. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Rivers.
Here.
Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Flowers.
Here.
Commissioner Kirker.
Here.
Commissioner Bender.
Here. Good. Next item is adoption and approval of agenda. Do any commissioners have any modifications they'd like to make to the agenda? Or otherwise, do I have a motion to adopt as written? There's a motion to adopt as written.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment.
I have a question, actually.
Go ahead.
Elise, I need to know why you did not put on the agenda my request for discussing the attorney's contract. Who told you? Just answer. Did someone tell you not to do it?
Yeah, that was me. I can answer
That was
that
you.
for her.
Did you discuss this with Clay Meek as well?
Yes, I spoke with Mr. Meek.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Public comment? No? Government representative comments?
Good afternoon, Jacob Weber, City St. Augustine. I'm the Grants Administration Coordinator, kind of stepping in for Corey Sackler today. I just want to offer a few updates on some of our projects. First, with the docks that were recently removed, he mentioned a couple months ago, I've officially sent in our closeout package along with an RFI. I have physical copies if you'd like them. But project went great, so no worries there. We do also have a new derelict vessel that was just authorized for removal. It is on the southern mooring field for the city on a mooring ball right now. I'm working on getting a quote for that removal and likely come back, or Corey will come back next month with that official ask. And then just quickly, lastly, with our Dolphin Drive project, we are getting quotes now for the draft template we received for the project, the removal cubic yards. I was looking at 14,500 estimated removal, and at this time we're just kind of make sure that scope of work looks great, so we have a final price included with the grant we have, and then come back with the final cost and everything for that Dolphin Drive dredge. But that was it. I'd be happy to answer any questions on those three projects.
Could you just, refresh, what is the timing of the Dolphin Drive dredge?
Yeah, so as of right now, there's still some steps to take. Once we get that final price, we have to go through commission approval on the city side to add that ad valorem tax. I think we're looking at getting that done within the next 6 months or so, but there's no fixed date right now just because we want to make sure that scope of work looks right. But I'd say we're looking at early 2027. Yeah.
Thank you.
Question on that. To continue on the Dolphin Drive. So not until 27 will we receive the reimbursement for the $36,500?
I'm not too sure. Once we have the price for the dredge, my kind of plan there is to go ahead and take the total we have for the grant, get ourselves a full picture of what the cost is, and when that's approved by the commission, I'd assume at that point we can come back. And so I'd hopefully have that done sooner than 2027, but at the latest, yeah.
Again, our money, my understanding was it was advance money to allow your consultants to do that preliminary work to encourage the folks there to take upon themselves the ad valorem tax.
That's correct.
So you don't know when we'll get our reimbursement yet?
Just because of the scope of work right now that we're finalizing, but like I said, I anticipate that being before 2027. Just, that's the latest I'd see it.
Second question, dealing with your docks marina, you got an advance money from us for, I think, $250,000 to do the work from the hurricane. Where do you stand with the Army Corps of Engineers for reimbursement?
I'm not sure I'm familiar with that exact project.
After the hurricane, the city came in and asked for some advance money to do the work while they were going through FEMA.
This is the repair on the breakwater dock at the marina,
Okay,
right?
yes, okay. We finally got obligated with FEMA on those projects, so we're not quite at the reimbursement stage, but we submitted some documentation to get our money back from the federal government, from the state. So as it stands right now, that project is complete with the repairs, but we don't have the reimbursement back on the Fed or state side to figure out what exactly that share looks like, so.
And I'm kind of asking Elise, have we actually advanced the money for the Dolphin Drive project yet?
Have we written a check for Dolphin Drive already?
No, I think we have, but I need to look back. I can't remember off the top of my head.
We may be able to find it in the financial report. I wasn't sure we did.
It won't be in the treasurer's, when did we give them the money? This year?
No, that was last year, I think.
Last fiscal year?
Okay.
That was fall of
If you can find out for
24.
us, make sure.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. Any other questions?
I asked those questions because we're dealing with budget issues later on, and I just wanted to anticipate if we were going to have additional money besides what we have in our budget right now.
No, I appreciate it, and I'm working quickly, as quickly as possible to get that finalized, just price-wise, and get it back to y'all, so,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you. Any other government representatives?
Hello, Commissioners. Carl Blow, Florida Inland Navigation District. I know you've got a big agenda here, so I'll try to make this quick. I just wanted to report on the result of the grants. Basically, this year, we received 3 grant requests from St. Johns County, which includes the city. The grant that the port's involved in, salt run dredging, out of 75 grant applications, it scored number 2. That's partly because Jacob did a great job down there doing the presentation in front of our board.
Could you peek a little into the mic for me?
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Anyway, Salt Run dredging scored number 2 out of 75 grant applications from the 12 counties in our taxing district. And I was just going to give a shout out for Jacob because he came down and did the presentation, so did a good job there. And of course, on that grant, the Port District is our partner on that, or the city's partner, and you guys provide a 25% match. So basically, what we have is, it was a $300,000 grant from Fine, and you guys have committed $100,000 as a match. And so the way this has been, this is what we call a multi-year program as far as Fine's concerned. So I would think the city would like to see you maybe budget another $100,000 so that they can apply for a grant in our next fiscal year, because basically it doesn't make any, you really need more than $400,000 to do an efficient dredging operation in Salt Run. I think they tried to, in the past, get 3 grant approvals from Fine and from the Port District before they actually let a contract. And of course, you're not out any money until they actually let a contract. So but as far as the Fine money is, it's once, I mean, we basically set that money aside in a lockbox, so it's going to be there over multiple years. So that's what the result of the Salt Run dredging grant. The other two grants, the county came in with a grant request to dredge the Volano boat ramp.
Again?
Well, that's an ongoing maintenance
What are they looking
issue.
for price-wise now, Carl?
I'm not sure. Well, I think they used $100 a cubic yard. If my
Last time it was 400, the time I wrote it was 400.
grant-wise, what they came in, they asked for a fine for $250,000, and that's a 50% match. So the county's budgeted $250,000. So that would be a $500,000.
And they're going to come in there and use a bucket dredger again, as opposed to...
I can't say for sure how they'll
I just
do
want to
it.
make a comment that we are paying top dollar for our dredging to receive Vietnam-era machinery that puts 50 to 80% of that silt right back in the water. They sure don't have to carry much off, because it's
Actually-
just being disturbed and pulled out to somewhere else.
Actually, they've used different methods at Volano. I think one year they actually did a hydraulic job there, and they took half the parking lot and used that for placement, temporary placement.
I was
of
there for that
material.
one. I went over every morning to watch them, and I saw nothing but bucket dredging, and you should
Yeah,
have
well,
seen
this goes
that.
back years ago. They did
Okay.
try a hydraulic operation.
So okay.
The downside was they lost half the parking lot for an extended period of time.
Well, that and the fact that, when you were here last, you said that we were in crisis.
Well, the crisis has to do with the permanent disposal of the dredged material. Right now, there's basically one contractor who has a facility on the river in Jacksonville, on the St. Johns River, and he's kind of the only game in town.
So what do we need to do to solve the crisis?
Well, actually, we can spend I can talk a long time about this. I know you got a big agenda, but what other communities have done, other cities and counties, and not a lot of them, Cocoa Beach is the one that comes to mind, is they actually took a piece of property they had and built their own dredged material management facility. And the fine would be be very interested in, and we actually helped Cocoa Beach do that. So
Well, when you brought this up before, saying that we needed, because my first term you did, and have you been able to find any property or locate any property that we could purchase to do that with?
I haven't been looking myself for that. I think the first step is to either get the county or the city to be engaged in searching for a piece of property.
We can buy property too, Carl. We have an amazing, as you know, an amazing charter. We'll refer to that today. But we absolutely can purchase property too.
Well, you could, yes.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
You could buy
Right, so
land,
if
you
we're in
could condemn
crisis-
land, you could build your own facility.
We can build it too, so if we're in crisis, please let us help.
Okay. Well, I don't want to get in trouble with the chair if I take too much
Sorry,
time.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, Volano, that grant also scored pretty high at number 17 out of 75. And then the last one was, as you may remember, the city is trying to get a state-of-the-art fireboat. And last year, they missed out on a big federal grant. And they asked fine for $125,000, which is the maximum we'll provide for either fireboat or police boat. And so that one scored number 54 out of 75. So bottom line is we received in grant requests over $40 million, okay, out of those 75. And we've budgeted in our proposed budget for this coming fiscal year, $28 million. So basically, all three of these grants, based on their scores, are above the line. In other words, they're for lack of a better word, they're in the money. And so I'm 99% sure when we approve our final budget, this money will be there for you. So any questions on grants? Okay.
The final budget will be blessed when?
Well, let's see, we just approved the preliminary budget in our meeting last Friday, And our next meeting, I want to say, where we'll approve the final budget, will be, I think it's September 11th. I'd have to check.
So the money would be available after October 1 then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's available after October 1st. And and we have, as far as our millage rate, we basically, at our first meeting, we're keeping our current millage rate. We may go to the rollback rate in our final meeting, but in any event, this is the 29th year that the Florida Inland Navigation District has either maintained the same millage rate or actually used a rollback rate. And last year we did the rollback rate. So, and really and this is the case we have in St. Johns County and for you guys, due to the growth, the tax base has increased. So it's basically been possible to, keep those millage rates low. But, okay, other than that, just to give you, you're going to hear a lot about Summer Haven, I think, but real quick, as far as the intercoastal waterway down there, we have a dredging project in the works. We already are having problems there where the Matanzas Inlet intersects with the intercoastal waterway.
Down by Summer Haven.
Right. And so we're working with the county, working with the Corps, obviously, and we're looking at a project basically a year from now, probably September 2027, to tackle the issues down there. So, and that would be, right now they're projecting 300,000 cubic yards, but by the time we get down there, it's probably going to be more material than that. And that material is scheduled to go on the beach.
At Summer Haven.
At Summer Haven.
South Summer Haven, right?
Yeah, from R200 to R208, which is basically from that north house down to...
200 to 208.
Yeah, 200 to 208.
So that's a big Army Corps dredging project. Spoke to Jason about it, and they did express their little concern that there's going to be enough room on that beach to put all the sand. If the Corps is bringing their sand from the river, and then there's a possible, in the future, a possible river dredge.
Yeah,
Since you brought it up, there's...
I'm going to defer to your engineer on that.
He's not able to talk, he's not able, so I'll just continue to talk to the Corps about it, but that's where I got that, was from the
Yeah.
Corps. Jason's quite concerned about that, having enough room, or if the
Yeah.
sand will be over the rooftops,
Yeah, I haven't heard about any issues about not having enough room, but, they don't tell me everything. So, other than that, I'll let you guys get back to work, unless you have any questions.
Hang on, you got a question from the audience?
Said, you're talking about in the intercoastal near the inlet, but there's also going to be dredging at the south end of the Summer Haven River in the
Yeah, when you look at the current survey, we've got problems primarily there on the north end where the inlet intersects with the ICW, but we're also having issues down there on the Summer Haven River.
where the sand is coming in.
Yeah, where the Summer Haven River basically meets the ICW again. So, yeah, it's...
Thanks.
Anyway, that's...
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other government representative comments? I noticed we had some folks coming in late. If you can make sure to sign in back there if you are a late
Mr.
addition.
Chairman, I wasn't quite done, I'm sorry. Just one more question, Carl, just real quick. You don't even have to get up. You told us, you tell us at most meetings when you come, because you can't come all the time, that we leave taxes on the table every year. I think it was a couple $100,000.
Grant
Right, on
money?
those grant, right. That, we collect you collect fine taxes from this district, collect them down there to fine, and you said that about 90% of that money we can expect to come back to our district in the form of grants. Is that correct?
Well, the way our rule is written is up to 90% of the gross tax revenue from a county can be used for this Waterways Assistant Program, grant program.
Right.
Okay? That's the rule. Now, of course, we've got other expenses we got to take care of the ICW. So
But my concern is this, you have warned us that we, year after year after year, there's tax money that belongs to this district. Wait a minute, technically, based on what you told me, but we don't come and pick it up. I had a long conversation with Ms. Whetstone about it. And not even that, to Summer Haven too, there are things that, $200,000, $400,000 can do some things. It's folded money, and just a minute, I want to make it clear for the public record that this board could do something with that money ourselves, as opposed to leaving it to basically go, like right now, I was up at Fernandina on my boat recently, and they have a wonderful waterfront park, find all over it. I feel like some of our money is building them a wonderful waterfront park.
Well, they pay taxes too up there.
I know, and I'm not asking them, but I don't want us to take 70% of our 90% back and leave that, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, let me respond this way, is, like this year, you could have conceivably gotten more grant funding if there had been grant applications. So, like if the port and the city wanted to increase that ask for Salt Run from 300 to 400 or something like that, we would have been well within that 90%. Basically, I think if you want to use the term leaving money on the table, it's about $400,000.
But it doesn't have to go to a dredging contract.
Oh, no, any
point.
grant program,
Right.
in any project
We already have
that
problems with the
meets our
contracts for
rules.
our dredging
I mean,
contractors.
it can be, kayak launch, boat ramps, there's whatever meets our rules
Right.
for grant projects.
I just wanted to bring that up against the commissioners here, and the public will be aware that our tax money is being spent in other counties and other districts when we could take it here. Based on what you're telling me, we are leaving
I'll be
money.
honest with you, the county that hasn't done a good job until this year was Broward County, and in some respects Miami-Dade, because that's where a lot of our tax revenue comes from. And
When we ask, if there's some money, and we say you come and say, there's money on the table, we got till a certain date, do we have to have a project that is going to finish within a period of time to access that money, or can we say we're working on a dredging project over somewhere, we'd like to access that to put in the pot? Can we do that?
Well, it depends on, Salt Run's a multi-year project. So
I'm not talking about Salt Run, we do a lot of things, and
That's an
we're going to find out
example.
today we could do a lot more.
Yeah. Well, we have grants that are not, we have a lot of grants that are just a one-time deal, right? But then there are certain grants that are multi-year.
We could access it for that. We could ask you for multi-year things rather than losing 200,000.
It depends.
Okay.
And
We could try, how about that?
I better let y'all.
We could try. We got a full agenda, so let's go and advance it. Next up is Secretary Treasurer's report.
City police law enforcement overtime, of the 10,000 committed, we've spent 1,328. Of the sheriff's department overtime, of the 30,000 committed, we've spent 14,390. Of the fire department's budget of 10, we've spent 2,468. Derelict boats, 17,963. Debris removal was 9,850. Channel marker repairs was 13,200 as out of the 25,000 budgeted. And the Florida State Board of Administration, there is $27,927. In the operating account, there is $747,355. In the money market account, there's $1,840,393, and in the reserve, there's $500,000. Of the taxes budgeted, the taxes we budgeted was $955,000. We received $953,000 to date. So basically, everything's in.
Very good. No questions on that. Next is approval of minutes from the June 16th, 2026 regular meeting.
I move approval of the minutes.
There's a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor? Aye. Engineering report. Nothing to report. Very good. No old business. Which brings us to new business. Item A, discussion of Summer Haven private party dredging within district. Commissioner Flowers.
Okay, first of all, I've got a presentation here, it looks like from the folks of Summer Haven, which I wasn't expecting today. I'm more than happy to talk about it, but I just want everybody to know for the record that I am here to discuss the unpermitted dredging that's been going on down at Summer Haven, South Summer Haven, for the last almost year. Now, let's get some things clear on the record first. Last time I brought this unpermitted dredging at Summer Haven up, Matt Brown, the chairman, said, or asked, what does it have to do with us, and said, we do not regulate. And today I got an email from Jim of Taylor Engineering, and within that email, he says he wasn't able to talk to us about Summer Haven, and I quote, again, he says, the Port Waterway Commission does not regulate the waterway. So we have a real misunderstanding. And last summer, I was speaking to Keely West over at the county, who's a county attorney, and she told me that the county was told that the port doesn't do any of that anymore. Jim, are you the one that told the port that we don't regulate? The county commission? Who is telling the county commission that we are not a regulatory authority, that we do not issue permits, or we don't need to know the projects that are going on within the Port District? Is that you, Jim?
Never told the county that.
Okay, are you doing that, Mr. Meek? Did you tell the county that we don't need to know about?
Commissioner Flowers, that question assumes a fact.
Are you telling the county commission that or the county administration that we do not need to know about port projects, about county projects within our district?
That's not even what you said. You said that we don't regulate, which is...
I'm going to read that to you. We're going to get to that. I'm just trying to find out who's telling the county that we do not regulate.
Again, you're assuming a fact that has not been established. I do not find you sufficiently truthful and accurate in your statements to know that what you report...
So you're not going to answer that?
Excuse me. I'm answering the question. I'm allowed to answer it before you interrupt. I do not know that to be sufficiently established that a county attorney actually told you that to be able to respond.
Then I would be a liar.
I am not finished.
Let me know when you do.
I will. Don't worry. If you believe that to be the case, if that actually was said, I suggest you ask the person who made the statement as to who told them that. Now I'm done.
She doesn't know. Apparently it was done by administrative employees through someone working for or sitting on the port. However, I did correct her now. Just for the public record, and Jim, I don't know where you would get that we are not a regulatory authority. Our charter has it at least 5 times. So if y'all will give me a minute, we're going to clarify this, and then we can help the people of Summer Haven. This is Section 4, Letter B, the district powers. And our powers are to lay out, construct, condemn, purchase, own, acquire, add to, maintain, conduct, operate, build, equip, manage, replace, enlarge, improve, regulate, control, repair, and establish. Jetties, piers, quays, wharves, docks. We've already told somebody we didn't regulate docks, and we do. Warehouses, storehouses, breakwaters, bulkheads, public landings, slips, seawalls, turning basins, harbors, ports, waterways, channels, moles, dry docks, terminal facilities, canals, cold storage plants, terminal icing plants, refrigerating plants, pre-cooling plants, bunkers, oil tanks, pipelines, ferries, locks, tidal basin, tramways, cableways, anchorage areas, depots, areas for abandoned or derelict ships, barges or crafts, airways, landing fields, conveyors, modern appliances for economical handling of storage and transportation of freight, and the handling of passenger traffic, and all other harbor improvements and facilities which by resolution, not by any one person's say-so, the commission may determine to be necessary.
Yes.
I'm not done, please let me finish. And in connection with the operation or improvement of the district, to perform all customary services, including the handling, weighing, measuring, regulation, control, inspection, and reconditioning of all commodities and cargoes received or shipped through said harbor. Just a minute, we've got two other letters. That was B. Twice we've got the word regulation in there. C, to improve all navigable and non-navigable waters situated within the district, to create and improve for harbor purposes any waterway within the district, to regulate and control all such waters and all natural or artificial waterways within the limits of the district. This next one is important. Subject to regulatory authority given to other governmental authorities pursuant to general or special law. General law, we are still, just per our charter, it's a state charter, not a county commission, water board. Pursuant to general or special law for our special district, we are still the governing authority of this district, and insofar as the state can grant the same, which apparently they could. However, we are subordinate to the district, to the jurisdiction of the United States of America to straighten, widen, deepen, or otherwise improve all waters, etc. I will scoot down a minute. Now this is line 15 under the same section. To enact, adopt, and establish by resolution, not by one person, rules and regulations for the exercise of jurisdiction and control over said waters and said port within the district. Hop down to, this is, we're on page, sorry, I don't have pages here. Same, it's, okay, excuse me, we are in section 4, letter E now. For a commission that doesn't do anything, Section E is to exercise such police powers as by resolution the commission shall determine to be necessary for the effective and complete control and regulation and protection of the said district.
You done?
Wait a minute. Excuse me, just 1 second. Okay, if we go down to Section H, H is in Henry. To make rules and regulations consistent with the Constitution and laws of Florida and the Constitution and laws of the United States for the promotion and conduct of navigation, commerce, and industry in the district. Said rules and regulations shall be reasonable and shall operate uniformly as to all similarly situated. Now, Mr. Jim, my question was, why do you think we don't regulate the waterways based on this charter?
So, Commissioner, you conveniently left out sentences of the letter I sent to all of the commissioners. What I said is you don't have final permitting authority, the DEP would, in conjunction with all the other authorities. You want to pull that out for whatever suits your purpose.
No, I never said that.
Let him finish.
Again, you don't want to answer the question?
Same letter.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw it.
We all know, I did see the letter, and we all know that FDEP is over everything. So if FDEP says you're not going to get the permit or whatever, I've never complained that FDEP is not over us, but
Right,
the
and
county is not, and we do regulate the waterways.
No, the FDEP being over top of
I am
us
just had to
conclusively
say it in
disposes of
public.
point 4 and 5 of your little list there. We do not have jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction is exclusive, as has been explained to
Where is
you
it?
a number of times over the years.
Show it to me. You've just heard it. That's the truth. Now, you
we've all
show me
heard it a
where we
number of
don't have
times now.
jurisdiction.
That-
Show me.
Because we have
Give me it to it in the charter.
We have been preempted by the
Give me the
state.
authority.
It was your point 4 and point 5.
Give
Point
me
number
to
1
it in
only
the
refers to
charter.
regulation of our own facilities and docks. Point 2 only points to regulation of freight. And then points 3, 4,
No, it
and
does not.
5. Yes, it
No, I would
does.
say, by the way, there's another thing in here that says,
All right, enough. Do you have
all
a point here?
foregoing powers shall be construed as powers of the commission, and the same shall not be deemed.
How could it be
Let me
6
finish.
years and you still don't
Let me-
understand this?
No,
You brought it up
honey,
so
I've
many
already had
times.
2 lawyers. Why do you, I am not
We are
done.
advancing
This
the
is my
agenda.
topic.
This is a
This
waste
is
of
my topic
everyone's
to
time.
speak on,
The
and I will
next-
finish speaking. You
the
cannot
next item of
obstruct.
business-
You cannot obstruct my job as a commissioner.
I don't understand
I'm
how
not finished.
literally any of
In
this
addition
works.
to the enumerated powers conferred upon.
We are advancing the agenda. The next
All
item
powers
is
and
item
can
B,
do all.
Summer Haven presentation.
All things
Linda Ginn
necessary.
and Janice Cochran.
So, okay, now we know where to go.
Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, thank you for allowing us to present today. We'll keep it as brief as possible, but you know we have to brag a little and complain a little. So, Summerhaven River provides many public benefits. This includes environmental, recreational, economic, historic, and educational benefits. It also provides wonderful habitat for wildlife. We have federally and state designated endangered and threatened species using the river. You can see here we have a total of 64 total bird species that have been recorded in Helen Mellon Schmidt Park. And one thing I want you to know about the presentation is that all these animals, this is not AI generated, these are all animals in the Summerhaven River or near it. Helen Mellon Schmidt Public Park is a valuable park, public, donated to the county by the Mellon family. It is widely used for recreation when the river is flowing. You used to be able to get 25-foot boats down the boat launch, and now you can barely get a kayak out to Matanzas Inlet. It is so shoaled with sand and sediment. River access was used for fishing, kayaking, paddleboarding, jet skiing, boating, swimming, bird watching, and water-based activities now are extremely limited because the river is close to completely filling in. These are people using the river. We've got different kayak groups using the river. Provides recreation and fishing, kayak and paddleboard guides love the river. It's so much safer than the Intercoastal Waterway, and there's recreation in there all the time when the river is flowing and instruction going on all the time. Okay, so my next slide is for all the anglers in the room. The Summerhaven River provides bait and wonderful fish, and it was Class 2 waters, wonderful habitat for fish, and you can see here in the videos. We're going to wait for it in this one. Another part of the Helen Mellon Schmidt Park is called Granny's Hole, and you can see all the different recreational activities that were taking place when the river was open. It's still got a little water in it, but it's not good water, and the sand, like what Carl mentioned at the south end, is happening still at the north end, where sand is being sucked down the river and creating all sorts of problems for us. The Summerhaven River has been used by St. Johns County Marine Science Program and Whitney Lab as a living outdoor classroom. And the Marine Science Program with the St. Johns County School District has put 900 kids on that river every summer for 50 years. And they like it there again because it's calm waters. There's a sandbar the kids can, if they fall out of their kayak or off their paddleboard, they can swim over, get back on. So they consider the river a very valuable asset to their program. When you have the river not flowing, some people think, oh, well, and looking at it now, it's just a creek. This shows you that it's not just a creek. It was a strong current flowing through the river, wide and deep, and this just gives you an idea of the force. I'm going to allow this to play through because
it's a whole herd. I'm taking a video right now. Isn't that incredible?
See that black spawn out there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that one. That one's going towards the water over there.
Okay. Gosh, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Plus whatever's over here.
Here, 10. I bet there's 12 of them out here.
They're probably, look at them. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful.
So this just tells you a little bit more about, I'm sorry, the second video is not playing. Anyhow, you can see the manatee there eating the grass along the shoreline. This just shows you what a wonderful habitat this was for wildlife, and it's going away. Here is a scene from the North River in the historic area. Everything you see in blue there that is water is now a big sand pit. There's none of this going on in that area. The same for this. Summerhaven has a rich history in St. Augustine history. Gene Johnson is a legendary oysterman. My husband knows him. He was quite a character, and if you want some stories, Jay can tell you. A couple of quick facts about Gene is Marjorie Canaan Rawlings wrote about him in her cookbook, Cross Creek Cookery, about his legendary roasts. And Gene also helped to save Fort Matanzas. It was crumbling into the Intercoastal Waterway, and he brought 3,800 bushels of oyster shells to prop up the fort. He did it by rowboat to start, and then he got enough money to get a motor for his boat, and so he did the rest via motor. So anyhow, he was a very interesting character, and there are wonderful stories about him. On your right-hand side, that screen is for the historic homes of Summerhaven built by the Mellon family. They were built to face the river because it was before A1A was built, and they had a mail boat and a supply boat that came down and supplied the houses. The hut and lodge are on the National Historic Registry, and they are the oldest beach houses on state record dating back to the 1890s. These are probably the most important videos on my part of the presentation. I'm just going to show you the river as it should look. You can see it wasn't just a big, full-flowing, dynamic river. Lots of people use it for recreation. And this is what we lost, this whole area that you see. So these are views of the South Summerhaven River and again the north part of the river where the hut and lodge are. This is how that area is supposed to look, and you can see the rich oyster habitat. There was a commercial clam and oyster farm which has had to close. There were oyster leases that fed local restaurants. And when these things happen, there's an economic impact too, not just environmental or recreational, but economic. And we want people to buy oysters from our local oystermen. We don't want them to have to go somewhere else to get them. So on this slide, it shows a water flow path. If you start at a certain point in Matanzas Inlet, and you look at the red line that's going down, the flow that's going down to the mouth of Pellisier Creek, which is the huge watershed, you'll see that going down the river takes 2.9 miles to get down there to bring fresh seawater in and take bad nutrients out. The river's closed. That's not happening. So instead, if you look at the white line, the water has to flow up past Fort Matanzas, around the bend, fight against the intercoastal, and then go down to the mouth of the Pellisier Creek area, and that's 5.6 miles. So that affects water quality, and we are very concerned about water quality in our area. These numbers to me are astounding, and they're getting worse. Salt marsh acreage, we've lost 90%. Oyster beds, 80%. Sand infiltration had an increase of 41%, and these were in 2023 and 2024, and the conditions just continue to degrade. And so these are good numbers, but, it's worse now, 2 years later. So the mission of the Friends of the Summerhaven River is the Summerhaven River and Dune System provide recreational, economic, environmental, safety, educational benefits to residents of and visitors to St. Johns County, and it should be restored. And that's what these guys are saying. You can listen to them. Help me, exactly. I would like to turn this over to my colleague now.
Thank you. So Linda from the Friends of the Summerhaven is part of the Summerhaven
sorry, could I get your
Resiliency
name,
Coalition.
please? We need your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Denise Cochran from the Summerhaven Resiliency Coalition. So she showed you how the river used to look, the benefits that the river had to the county, to the community. I'm going to show you the reality of what's going on now with the river. So a lot of these are drone photographs that were done in the spring. And you can see that right now, the current coming in and out of the inlet has to do this dogleg to the right and then dogleg to the left and swerve around to come out into the ocean. And this is what's left of the Summerhaven River now, is actually this tiny little area that is maybe barely even 6 feet wide. And the Summerhaven River always functioned as a steering channel for the Matanzas Inlet, which actually prevented shoaling from happening inside of the inlet, and it kept the main channel in the center of the inlet. And since it is closed, you can see it has totally affected how the Matanzas Inlet waterway is running. So this is an aerial shot that is showing the mouth of the Matanzas Inlet and the Summerhaven River up where the National Park meets the Rattlesnake Island Helen Mellon Schmidt Park. And this is a huge breaching area now. And it breaches very regularly at King's Tide, and it also breaches if we have northeastern winds and rains for a couple of days. And this is greatly going to be affecting the intercoastal waterway when this opens up as a breach. We're not too far from that point.
To Barataria Island so I can get my bearings there, if you're able to.
Let me see if I get the cursor.
Is it right in the middle of that yellow circle?
Okay, so yes, this is Barataria Island.
Okay.
This is Matanzas Inlet.
Okay.
This is Helen Mellon Schmidt Park. And this area, this is maybe about 20 yards across, is now regularly breaching. And if this opens up, you are now going to have tremendous navigation problems with the intercoastal waterway at this point. This lower portion shows you the amount of sediment and infiltration that has come into the Summerhaven River, which has wiped out the boat launch that we used to have at Helen Mellon Schmidt Park. This is Granny Hole, just a little bit south end of Helen Mellon Schmidt Park. Used to be one of our best angling areas, and it now has diminished water quality, and there's barely any fish. It's completely filled up with sediment. And at the point of the bridge, this is the Summerhaven Bridge. This is where the river stops completely. And this is now causing all of this area to become a stagnant pool. It's really a retention pool now and not a waterway. So how the river used to run, it used to run next to the wetlands, ran down the coast and out into the intercoastal waterway near the Pellissier Creek. We now have a loss of the river, and with that we lost all of our dune protection as well. So we have stagnant waterways, we have loss of wetlands, and now we've lost all of our barrier dune protection. So this is how it used to run at the very southern end. This bridge is down where Marineland Bridge, right before Marineland. And as you can see, it's completely gone.
So the current impacts to this area now is affecting all of our island. We have regularly flooding that's going on. This was not a nor'easter, this was not a storm, this was a king's tide that happened. Causes regular flooding to, this is Gene Johnson Road. We have severe erosion going on at the beaches where this picture is actually north of the Summer Haven, north of Matanzas Inlet at Summer House. We have sand infiltration, which is totally filled in the river. We now have breaching on a regular basis of A1A, which is our evacuation road, which has concerns for everybody who lives in the area. And this is a picture of ocean breaching that is happening because there are no protective dunes anymore. And again, here's an ICW breach. So this has concerns much further than just the river, just Summer Haven. Nature does not know our, borders, individual borders that we have set up. This is affecting an inlet, an intercoastal waterway, a watershed area, and an entire beach area. So the community came together trying to come up with a solution, and we created the Summer Haven Resiliency Coalition to try to come up with a plan. Instead of coming to the county and coming to these boards with complaints, we're coming with solutions now. We have come up with a phased plan because we realize it's going to be a big investment to try to do everything at once. Phase one is to excavate the Summer Haven River from the Marineland Bridge all the way up to the Summer Haven Bridge. Use that sand as an east river berm, and also put it on the oceanfront area to start creating an ocean barrier dune. Now we realize that we will need something a little bit stronger than that. There is hard rock armament that is up at the northern end of the Summer Haven River, and there is hard rock armament that is to the south at Marineland. And what that is causing is just the scooping out of our entire beach, river, wetlands area. So we're looking for an enhanced dune system that would be based on a nature-based design that would allow us to keep the river intact and keep the beach intact and protect all the properties and protect the resources in the area. We're also looking to dredge the northern end of the Summer Haven River where it opens up into the Matanzas Inlet to ensure a good flow is occurring. Phase 3 is going to be to turn this entire area into a park system. Right now, it is private beach area. There's no designated park except for Helen Mellon Schmidt Park. We would like to see either it integrated with Helen Mellon Schmidt Park as one continuous park, or a separate park area that would have amenities for visitors, for county residents, for everyone. So this is a park design we've been working on. Some of it is an enhancement to Helen Mellon Schmidt Park. It would include having a walkover. This picture on the bottom, this is an AI-generated picture to show how we could have the river open, still have a walkover so there's access to the beach, parking, small boat launch, kayak launch. This would also work with the new bike path that's going in that would pass this area. This is a new, how many $1 million bike path is it? $12 million bike path that's going in and could tie in as part of the park design. So we realize that fixing our beach and our river is not going to be the total solution. Everyone needs to take a serious look at what's going on in the Matanzas Inlet. The county, we've been working very collaboratively with the county for the past 2 years. We've been partnering with them, and we've been getting all kinds of support on a federal and on a state level to try to get a feasibility study done for the Matanzas Inlet so we can come up with some permanent solutions. The county has written a letter of intent for the past 4 years supporting this feasibility study. It's a $3 million, 50% match. And right now we've got support from Representative Randy Fine, Florida Senator Tom Leek, Florida State Representative Sam Greco. I've also been to Senator Scott's office in Washington, D.C., who has verbalized support as well. So everybody is starting to realize that this is a very important area to the state of Florida that needs to be addressed. on a serious level. So looking back at our Phase 1 plan, like I said, we've been partnering in a private-public partnership with St. Johns County. We're able to find engineering plans from 2020 that still had open existing permits that the county now holds. 2 of them are Army Corps permits, 2 of them are FDEP permits, and we're looking to, like I said, the Phase 1 is to excavate the river first to get it flowing, to get sand on the beach, to protect the area, and then we'll be looking at funding for Phase 2 to actually put in some kind of a nature-based armament that would keep things in place. We believe that this plan shows fiscal stewardship. Our community, and I'm going to show you in the next slide, is making a significant contribution to doing this plan. We're showing local responsibility for coming up with solutions and actually taking ownership of the area. We've promised to be doing the vegetative mitigation for the area and maintaining it. And this is all for public benefit. We're not just doing this for our community itself. We believe that this is a very valuable resource for the state. As Mr. Blow mentioned, there's an Army Corps dredge that's scheduled, and they have committed to give us the beneficial use of the spoils material, which will help re-fortify our beach system. We thought we heard it was going to be July of 2027, but he's saying it could be September, but that would time very well. We'd be able to have the Phase 1 completed, the river dug out, the initial dunes put in, and this would give us additional support in the area. So as you can see, these show the investments and support that have already occurred. Summerhaven Community has already spent $343,000 to help with river, beach, roadways, utilities, and easements of the area. They are also dedicating another $300,000 that would go to construction costs for this Phase 1 dig. And so that's showing already a commitment of $641,000. They also hold an MSTU tax, which is being held by the St. Johns County, which is almost $1 million, and looking to have that applied to the hard armoring as well. St. John County has shown a commitment of $343,000 already by taking the engineering plans through the PED process, and has put in for a design for a seawall for hard armoring in the area.
From whom?
Pardon?
Where are they getting that money from for the armoring?
We don't have the funding. We have to have the engineering plans.
So you
first.
just put in for, they just put in for that?
St. Johns County has paid Taylor Engineering to do the design work, the design, permitting, and engineering for the hard armament.
That was the $343,000?
That is it's on here, it's $274,407. $112,000 is what was spent to take these plans, the existing plans, through the permitting process right now.
And the permitting process to the county, because the FDP hasn't issued that yet. They told me they're going to have to look at these again because it's been so long and there are trees growing in the river.
It's going to be submitted, I believe.
The permits are not ready.
We have county commission. We have the county coastal manager here that can answer any questions. My understanding, it's going to be, they've already taken it to Army Corps of Engineer, who has extended the permit on one of the permits, been extended. And then it's going to go to FDEP, I believe, next week or within the next couple weeks? It went Friday afternoon. Oh, it went Friday afternoon. So it's sitting with them right now. There's only been a slight modification to the plans. We didn't foresee any problem with getting it approved. All we're looking...
FDEP requires active parking of X amount of parking spaces to do that. Access, not just parking along that great northern part that they did that amazing project. North Summerhaven. So
parking
FDEP,
for what?
you're going to have to have public access parking actively to get those FDEP grants. But they have put in for those already?
This is existing engineering plans that were approved, have been done in the past. The only modification is we're moving the berms, the ocean berms, as far west as we can for better resiliency.
There are trees growing in the riverbed.
We realize
We're going
that.
to have to
According to the FEP I spoke with.
To correct you, the river is going to be dug out in the exact location that it was before. There's not trees growing in the area, it is sand, there's sand infiltration.
We've never opened that before. It was supposed to be
Yes,
open.
ma'am.
I saw it, ma'am.
It's been opened twice.
And it was never opened. We paid to have it opened, but we have never opened
No,
it.
ma'am, you are
Commissioner Flowers, please
incorrect.
let her finish the presentation.
Yes.
I'm saying this for the public record.
So, in any case, we do have political support from our county commissioners. They have dedicated funds. They have dedicated a full-time coastal manager that is doing nothing but working on the Summer Haven problem. Clay Murphy, Christian Whitehurst, Senator Arnold are all in very strong support of what we're trying to do. Congressman Rainey Fine is working with us to help us get funding, also working with the DEP, as well as State Senator Tom Leek, Stan McLean, and State Representative Sam Greco. So we feel we have the attention and support of the state behind us.
But they have not approved anything else, is that correct? Other than the engineering plans, nothing's been approved. That's what I was told by a commissioner just yesterday.
I don't know what you mean by, you mean for the commissioner, for it to go out to bid? Yes,
But
it
the
has not
project
been
has not been
approved.
approved.
It has
Right.
not been approved to go out to bid. We're hoping to have that
Project
happen.
hasn't been approved to do anything yet. This is what
Ma'am, they dedicated money.
Please let her finish.
Trying to get it clear. You have to let me ask questions.
I don't have to let you do anything.
Oh,
Let
I'm
her
sorry,
finish
but
the
I am an elected official. I need to be able to ask questions.
Who were you elected by?
By the people of the district, sir.
Yeah, please continue.
So,
And I have an oath I took to serve them.
So I would say that the St. John's Commission has shown their support by actually giving close to $300,000 to get these plans approved through permitting and dedicating one of their full-time employees to just working on this project itself. I can't see any more commitment than that. I mean, that to me is a very strong showing of commitment.
Can I ask you who that employee is?
It's Ainsley.
That's you, Ainsley? Hey, honey.
And just to let you know, she actually was the coastal manager for Flagler County that was responsible for all the reinforcement and armament all down Flagler County from Ormond Beach to Marineland. So she is well experienced with this problem, and she has been a huge asset to St. Johns County in helping us work on this problem. So we see this as beneficial to St. Johns County, not just to the people who live in Summer Haven. It will restore a natural barrier system, and it will address the coastal erosion and flooding in the area. It'll restore a natural ecosystem. It'll reduce the risk of ocean breaching. It'll reduce the risk of ICW breaches and shoaling. And it will be a protection to A1A, the homes and structures in the area. And best of all, it will be an attainment of a 43-acre river-to-beach recreational park at minimal cost to the county if we get it seen all the way to fruition. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ms. Cochran. Any other questions?
I do. First of all, the presentation of you guys was not on the agenda today. And I know of at least 3 people from Summer Haven. If they'd known you guys were presenting, they would have come.
We made the request last month when we came to the meeting.
No, it's on the agenda for Sandra, for Commissioner Flowers dealing with the dredging.
Look at the very next item.
item.
Item B on the agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry, my bad, excuse me, it did put it down there, so here's my question.
Okay. Sure.
Okay? Because I do know everybody down there agrees with y'all. Linda, you remember when I first got here and we did a $2.9 million dredge job down there that failed? And it failed, we know it failed because you guys came and you showed us and you wanted more money. I thought you wanted me to fix it. I went to the Army Corps CAP program and I brought in, no time at all, remember Mr. Suggs? James Suggs. Do you realize that I had the entire Summer Haven River, I had a study completely covered, 100% covering the study for the river, and a 50-50 match. This included everything, including the wall, putting the animals and the fish and the seahorses back in there, restocking, everything. I couldn't get anybody to sponsor it. I went to this port, they looked at their feet. I went to the county, Henry Dean said no. So explain to me, if I need to understand, should we go back to the Army Corps and ask for a CAP program?
Yes, well, that is before our time, I think at that time, we did not have the full support of the Commissioner Board. We had Commissioner Waldron represented our area that wasn't supportive. So we really didn't have the political support to have it addressed properly. We now have total support for addressing this.
Why don't we go back instead of spending our, because right after they said, no, we finish, but I'm always interrupted, but I can never finish, okay? I can't interrupt anybody else, but everybody can interrupt me. If we go back, now we've got a different situation. It may be difficult. When I was talking to Jason over at the Corps, he said, I'm not into that. You know, he is into doing the armoring the inlet, then Barataria, then Summerhaven Beach, and then, and only if there's enough, basically money, taxes coming in to support. That's the Army Corps, the opening of the river. And according to you guys, your own thing said we had gained 80 acres of sand?
So the problem is, when we talk to Army Corps, is because there are no facilities, there are no structured facilities, and it is not considered an engineered beach, Army Corps cannot be responsible for it. That is another reason why we want to see this made into a park system, because if it is made into a park system and it will have an engineered beach, then we can get on the Army Corps' 50-year plan, which is under their...
it's a spoiled dump now. So
yeah,
there's all
we don't qualify for CAP grants because...
Well, we did then. And he was giving me the chapter and telling us about
You're interrupting again.
All I can say is where things are at the present time right now. And we have been in communications with Army Corps entirely through this process for the last 2 years. We've been working hand in hand with them.
Okay, but I'm sorry, but the CAP program is not the same thing as Jason's office. My question to you is, as constituents of this county, do you not think we should go for the free money?
I think so, but I think the time involved doing that is going to cause more critical problems to what's going on. I think my presentation showed how what's going on right now is going to have damaging effects, not just to Summerhaven, but to your intercoastal waterway, to an inlet, to a park, a county park, and a national park that's all sitting in the same place. So something has to be done. Yes, I do believe that opening up the river and fortifying the beach will be a huge asset to get it back into balance.
So you feel like it's in a crisis situation?
Oh, yes,
right now?
I think we're past a crisis.
And I agree.
We're past that.
Y'all may not like me, but this is some of the worst management. If anybody in this room had their neighborhood managed like this by the government, they would be in court all day and all night just because you're on the beach, to me, especially when we live, give me a second, we have 42 miles of beach and we have renourished 40.5 miles of beach. Yeah, or in the process of doing that, especially when this same exact area was taken out of an Army Corps study around 2018.
I agree. We're the ugly stepchild.
Can you understand the frustration for me? Because I was the only one that tried to come and help Summerhaven, and now I can't get y'all, you say nasty things about me. All I want you to do is...
This is not airing
all I want you to do
is... Ms. Cochran, are you all set?
Okay, once again, you're obstructing my job as an elected official.
Out of an excess of caution, because we do have to be out of here at 5:30, I would like to move item E, establish millage rate, up to the present, because we are going to need to talk through that, and if other things don't come up, those can be bumped to future meetings, but we can't miss this one. So is that...
Can we do Officer Pat Harvey's?
Yeah, Mr. Harvey, can you get through your presentation pretty quickly here?
I'm not willing to get rid of the May Street launch.
Nobody said we're getting rid of it. They said we're moving it.
May I approach just to give you some updated information?
Yes, please.
And I'll take about 3 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Pat Harvey with the City of St. Augustine's Marine Unit. The original proposal that I sent to you, this is an addendum. What I did under fiscal responsibility is I realized that we were spending a lot of money coming into maybe a different tax bracket as we start in November. I was able to find a separate vendor that would drop $104,000 off the original ask, which changes on page 3. I've rewritten the numbers for you. The price of the vessel itself is $249 now instead of $354, and the city's input is approximately $150, which is 37% of the whole package. That would be a new officer, which they've approved, the training, equipment, and vehicle. So that's where we come up with 150. Again, that is approximate. It may be a little bit more, a little bit less. We did price out vehicles for that, so it's probably going to be a little bit more, but I used the lower number for our discussion today. I put an executive summary on page 1. I'm not going to read through all of it. It's all highlighted for you. I don't want to waste too much of your time. And the new estimate for the vessel itself is the last 2 pages of the packet that you have. The original packet that I gave you a month ago is for the original vessel, so that one is no longer valid. Excuse me, no longer valid. The reason we're looking for a new vessel, I know in the past you guys have helped out several times with upgrading the one we primary use now. It would cost anywhere between $180,000 and $210,000 to make that one viable to do what the new one would do. 83% of our calls are within the district, and 90% of that 83 are on the ocean side now. So the single motor that we have, the vessel that we have currently, on most days is not safe to go out the inlet. That's just not. So I realize it's a large chunk of money, and I realize we're going through this very quickly, but I wanted to make sure you guys understood that everyone is looking at the numbers these days. So we went out and found a different provider, basically, for a vessel that would do the same as the original ask at $104,000 cheaper.
Wow. And just to clarify, the city is who is going to be paying for an additional officer, right?
Yes.
You're not asking for any ongoing commitments to paying for another position?
No,
Okay.
for clarity, sir, the city has agreed to put another officer on in the Marine unit specifically. So I'm the only one, as you guys all know, that worked for the Marine unit. The city has agreed to fund a second officer for that, as well as all of the training, equipment, and vehicles that needs for that to happen. So that whole package would not have anything to do with your funds. That would come out of the city. There'd be no recurring money for that position from you. That would be something that they would take on year after year.
Right.
I appreciate you speeding it up, but if you could give the specific amount at the end before they vote. I
Sure,
appreciate it.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I couldn't hear what he said. Could you help me?
Wanted me to make sure I read the specific amount asked for.
Okay.
The total cost of the project is $399,620. $249,620 of that, which is 62.5%, is what I'm actually asking for. $150,000 is what the city would project, which would be 37.5%, and that would make the total of $399,620 of total package. But the ask today from you would be the $249,620. The other interesting thing with this other provider is we would have the asset between 3 and 5 months from now, fully operational. The other manufacturers are anywhere between 18 and 24 months out. It's very difficult to ask for a lot of money if you can't see it. And
How fast you think you could get it?
they guaranteed me no more than 5 months, ma'am.
5
So
months,
between
5
3 and
months.
5. And they're also made locally in Miami, or assembled in Miami.
Okay.
So we would have access instead of it being on the West Coast in Seattle. So we'd be able to follow that. But they did guarantee no more than 5 months.
Terrific.
Sorry, can I ask questions yet?
Yes, ma'am.
You've got two 250s back there, so you're gonna do just fine.
Well, the thing, and we've had this discussion offline before, the vessel we have now is great. It does great things. However, when it's time to go offshore and in heavier weather, we're unable to do that. We have to rely on our partners, which we have plenty of partners to do that, but sometimes I work by myself, and I am fully duly sworn as well with the sheriff's office, so I can take the calls within the whole district. And the boat that I have now, I sometimes have to decline. I cannot go offshore sometimes.
Or even sometimes just or just inside it can be that bad.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, because you don't have much freeboard on that boat.
No,
do you?
ma'am. This will have 21 inches of freeboard.
Is this different than what the fire department's going to need, or is it the same type of?
This is completely different. I know they're asking for something different. I
It's a
don't
rescue.
know, but theirs is for firefighting capability. This will have none of that. This is for law enforcement only.
Well, you guys do such an amazing job. You always know I'll vote for anything, so I'd make a motion to give you whatever you want.
Additional questions?
Sir? Yeah, absolutely, please do.
Mr. Blow mentioned some monies from Find. Is any of their money going towards this purchase, or is his discussion was dealing with additional boats?
His discussion was dealing with the fire department vessel, sir.
Not this one?
Not this one. No, sir.
Yeah, I mean, we've given money to the county for a number of different marine projects marine vessels over the years. We bought them a fan boat. We helped them with their offshore search stuff. We've just written a check to the fire department for their boat. I don't see why we wouldn't also do the same for y'all. I think there's definitely a need, and this is completely consistent with past district funding priorities, so I would be in favor of granting this request as well.
So move.
So moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
For the 249,620.
249,620.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We're all going to need individual rides on that boat at some point.
Yes, sir. And I will come up back monthly to make sure everybody understands the progress.
Thank you very much.
Hey, does that have a boat have an amazing depth sounder that can find bodies and what like that, like the last one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Next item for business, we're at 4:16. I'm going to switch millage rate and May Street launch. We'll keep May Street launch at the end just in case we don't get to it this time. Next is establish millage rate. We've all been given the budget worksheets. Our rollback rate of 0.0559 would result in revenue of $1,001,000 and change next year. If we stick with the current rate, last year's rate of 0.0574, that would result in revenue of $1,027,982. Any discussion on that as a preference between the rollback rate and last year's rate?
Are these the only two choices? I mean, maybe,
This is what we, yeah, this,
You could raise taxes too.
this is, yeah,
Yeah, that would require a huge additional amount of hoop
this is
jumping.
not set in stone yet.
And again, this will just be
Whatever
right.
you agree to today, you can always change.
Right.
But you can go lower, you can't go higher.
oh, that's what I was going to ask
Yes.
our
yes.
attorney to remind us of how the procedure
Yes,
worked.
you can
and
go lower.
That even though I would support lower, it's okay to approve higher, and then when we start having the hearings,
Yeah, you
we
could
can
do
go
that,
Right.
but you're taking a vote, so it's,
Yes, but again, it will be a non-binding vote. It will only establish the discussion parameters for the actual trim meetings coming up over the next couple months.
Also, this is going to Tallahassee to just,
Right.
right now, but it's not set.
So, do we have any discussion on either of those rates or a preference to, for either of those rates as we
Rollback
head
rate.
into trim?
Rollback from me, and my reason would be because we still have another year of illegally raised taxes in 2020 that we need to make up to the public.
Anybody else?
Yeah, last month I mentioned some issues with the Homestead Amendment. My information I had been given and what I relayed to the board was incorrect. I talked to the property appraisal's office after last meeting, and anything dealing with that Homestead Amendment would not deal with this budget. It would deal down the road in future budgets if it passes. Dealing with the tax issue, there's two bills that were signed by the governor, Senate Bill 4F, which deals with rollback issues. 110% rollback requires 2/3 of the commission's approval, and above 110% requires unanimous approval of all the commissioners. House Bill 1329 requires budget information to go fully out to the public so they know what's happening if in the situation. And also, I understand that some governments, and I'm not sure if this government would be required to do an examination in January of 27 10% reduction of all of the costs to see how that would impact everybody. In terms of the trim, the percentage that you have is less than 10%, I believe, increase. I think you put down, it was 2.some% increase above the rollback. So it would fall below the 10% by my reading of it. We'll have the discussion, but as I've voted for the last 2 years, I will prefer a rollback rate.
Okay, so that's 2 for rollback rate.
I agree with rollback rate.
Let's go with rollback.
There you go. It's unanimous. We'll have rollback rate on the first trim discussion, which, Elise, can you remind us when that, will that be at the end of a regular meeting, or is that a separate meeting?
No, that's actually going to be the first trim hearing.
First trim hearing is just,
It's going to be it's going to happen after this, it's going to be.
it'll be a 5:05, it'll be a 5:05 meeting, right?
August meeting now is going to be the 20th. So not on Tuesday, it's going to be on Thursday.
Because of primary voting, right?
The early voting.
Okay, got it.
Just for dotting i's and t's, is that formal motion by Bender, second by Rivers, and then taking a vote?
Yeah, it sounds like that was it, and it was unanimous for rollback rate.
We never took a vote.
Sure, I mean, we didn't take a formal vote, we just did a head count. Is that sufficient?
Seconded.
You can do a formal count now, I've got it down.
Okay, we had a motion and a second for rollback rate, all in favor? Aye. There we go. Thank you.
Doesn't this information have to go to the county when they do their proposed budget information?
I think it goes to the state, and then the state sends it back to the county.
Yeah.
Yes, which it will be transmitted to the state.
This information?
That's right.
Okay.
Next agenda item is May Street launch. May Street launch?
I was waiting, the last time we spoke about the May Street launch, we were supposed to be getting a rendition for a couple of options from Taylor Engineering. That was the last time we spoke.
Yes, and then at a subsequent meeting, we agreed as a board to explore handing that property over either to the city or the county so that they could improve it instead, which obviated the need for us spending money on
So did you
Taylor.
decide to not get that?
Yes, that's exactly right, because...
Okay, by how many votes? Is that a resolution then?
It was by the 4 commissioners who actually
Did
bothered
we
to show
get a
up that
resolution
day.
on that you're going to try to give the property away?
We haven't resolved it yet because we have not formally agreed with the county, but the county is interested in it. So when and if they come back with a specific
County
proposal...
or the city?
The county.
Okay.
It's the county. The city passed, but the county is interested, and they are in discussions with administration now.
It's funny, I asked for that information at last meeting when you weren't here, but no one could tell me.
Actually, to be clear, at the last meeting, I specifically said everything that Chairman Brown just
No, you
said
didn't.
and pointed out that it was in the minutes from the prior
No, you
meetings that
didn't.
you
You
failed
did not
to
tell me
attend.
that.
He did.
Yes, I did.
I listened to the recording.
No, you didn't.
That
Y'all
brings
are a
us to
bunch of
the
liars.
That brings us to the end of our discussion. So that puts us at public comment. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to make? Well?
Carl Blow, fine. I just wanted to point out, unless I missed it, that the Summer Haven River was the original route for the Intercoastal Waterway.
Right.
And it was relocated, I'm not sure, in the 1930s. And the reason it was relocated was that the problem was as barge traffic crossed the inlet area of the intersection, if it was an incoming tide, the tide was so strong it would pin barges onto the west shore. So but I did want to make that clear that, that is, in some ways, it's an historic, to us at Fine, this is historic, because that is the original route for the Intercoastal Waterway established in really the 1800s. The Intercoastal, the waterway itself was privately owned up until 1927 when the state of Florida and the federal government took it.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Blow. Mr. Meek?
Yes, just very quickly, because reading the audience, I think there may be some public comment, and before there is, I wanted to remind all commissioners that this public comment is not a presentation. The presenters are not subject to questioning. They are allowed to speak uninterruptedly on what they wish to speak about. That was all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any members of the public?
Yeah.
Got one? Please, when you come up, make sure you give us your name and your address.
Sure. My name is Joe Mantineo. I live on 238 Barataria Drive on the inlet. And I just want to point out a few things. Last Saturday, there was besides the parking the parking that is available for people, there was 138 cars parked on A1A enjoying this inlet that's sanding in. The depth is, you can walk from Rattlesnake Island at high tide all the way across to the bridge now. You could never do that before. I've owned the 238 Barataria Drive since 2016. You have no more than 20 to 25 small business owners who are charter fishermen that come through that inlet early in the morning, take high-value tourists out there every day. It's to the point that it's closing. So, you know, I don't want to sound confrontational or anything. You're going to do something about this. Because what's going to happen is when that inlet closes and the thousands of people that spend the weekend there can't use it anymore, there won't be 40 or 50 people standing in here. There'll be, 500. So we need to do something about this. This is a national treasure, never mind a Florida treasure. It's one of the most beautiful inlets in the country. And I've watched it degrade to nothing. You know what I mean? The water levels have shrunk 3 feet from all the sand that's coming into the inlet. I live on the inlet. I watch it every day, right? So you guys got to take this pretty seriously, because this is going to be something that when that thing finally shuts, you got about 1.5 or 2 feet of water coming from the Fort Matanzas Bridge and around to get out to the inlet. When all those people can't access the ocean coming down the intercoastal, it's going to be a serious problem. I mean, you have hundreds of people. It's a Tuesday, and there's no less than 200 people sitting out on that beach. And the water from where the beach where they sit, which is on the A1A side, all the way across, you can walk across it. It's this deep. It's a major problem. It really is a major problem. I mean, you guys, we've been kicking this can down the road. I've been to these meetings for the last 5 years, and nothing's happening. And but I could take the beach digest last week and watch you drop $500,000 in sand out on some beach wherever, like it's nothing. We have to get serious about this, because once that shuts, and it is going to shut very shortly. You have about 18 months left before this becomes so critical that it's going to be a dry hole. So, I don't want to sound threatening or anything like that, but this is a major problem. This isn't something that's going to correct itself. The steering current of the Summerhaven River and that circular thing is the only thing that's going to save this thing. And if we don't do something about it, we've lost a national treasure, and it's certainly a treasure for this county. You have thousands of people per week. I live there. I'm not disparaging anybody here. You drive past there once a month. I live there. There's thousands of people on these beaches every week spending money in this county, in hotels, in restaurants, and all this. And you have 20 or 30 businesses that take high-value tourists out commercial fishing through that inlet every day. They're done when that closes. Those businesses are done because they can't take clients out from there. So, I would seriously consider you guys thinking about getting serious about this. Because for the last 5 years, all we've been doing is kicking this can down the road. That's basically what we're doing. So it's going to come back to haunt you. Because when it closes and it becomes a sewer, those 500 people that are sitting on that beach today, they'll be here asking why. How can you let this happen? That's pretty much what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yep.
Guys are slow.
I'm going to make sure that...
My name is Mike Garvey, and I live on Summer Island.
hydrologically, there's been a big change when the intercoastal came through. I wish I had a little pointer, but I'm going to walk over here because I have to. Right here on A1A is a low spot that every it's always, water is always breaching here, and it doesn't have to be a hurricane. I came here 5 years ago. I drove across this little bridge here, and I looked over this way, and I saw beautiful dunes and grasses and everything. And that's all been washed away. And I'm an environmentalist, and I live like right here. And I thought to myself, okay, it's going to happen again. And this is what, Sandra, I don't know, and I appreciate your getting involved in the past. But what you've done here is you've elevated the beaches here, put in fortification here, and the beaches down here have been elevated and fortified. But this area here is a dip. And what happens is the water comes across here, and it took all this sand into here, across to here, into here, and it's going to go across here. And that's the emergency of the situation. We have a need to get in and out through emergency access right here. So to be able to open this up, at first I thought, oh, my own backyard. This is not about the backyard. This is about tourism money for the county is what it really is all about. And his point was very well made. People park up and down here all the time. And what happens here, what used to happen is the water, see, this wasn't here. Nothing was here. The water came in the inlet, and the tidal flow came this way, and it came this way. And then when the water came out, it went whoosh. So now it's all different. So if this waterway is open, it's going to maintain the flow that used to be there, and it's going to reduce the potential for breach right there, and that's going to save the county money. And not to mention the advantages of the oyster beds, et cetera, et cetera. So I appreciate you guys very much. And Sandra, I appreciate your involvement in the past very much.
I'd love to talk to you.
Thank you.
He won't let me, though.
Anyhow, I'm just worried about, this all happening again. So what really has to happen, in addition to dredging this, that alone won't do it. This needs to be fortified with something similar here that could be buried. And then the Army Corps can kind of refurbish the whole thing, and not, what happens is sand, as it particulates down, it goes in here. Yeah. So all this sand from here goes here, and all the sand that's been built here goes down here, but there's nothing here, and you have a dip, and that's where all that water comes in. Thank you.
Leaf valve.
Thank you. Anybody else? Members of the public?
Brian Love, 9417 Old A1A. I appreciate your time and consideration in this matter. There's no bigger return on investment for your dollars with this partnership between St. Johns County, the state, federal monies, and the community. We've bled for the last 16 years. I know you've seen it. I know you guys are frustrated with seeing it. This is a very different scenario. To address the mangroves in the river, the mature mangroves are protected. They were islands. The seedlings, there's already a plan to containerize them and hold them till after construction to use them to re-nourish the west side of the east side of the river. Now that has to be done strategically because we're looking at armament. This is not a 1-2 punch. This is a long-term plan with a 50-year beach renourishment as the end goal. So instead of throwing obstacles, we need all the solutions we can get. And it could start with a little groundswell from you guys. The county's already kicked in. Come with solutions and let's fix the problem to maximize this return. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, my name's Lehman Norman, and I live at 8942 Gene Johnson Road. I'm a fourth-generation Floridian, two-generation commercial fisherman. I've been guiding in Matanzas Inlet for 10 years, and I've been commercial fishing down there since I was a kid. And I've had a commercial fishing license for 17 years in that area. That area is very pristine. I've been harvesting oysters out there my entire life. We have 1,200 acres of harvestable area right there that is only open because of the inlet and the flow we get. We have 2,500 acres in St. Johns County that we're allowed to harvest from. Half of it's in between 206 and Matanzas Inlet. That's only because of Matanzas Inlet. If that flow continues to slow down, we'll start seeing more and more fecal matter, which comes from St. Augustine and from Pellissier Flats, start to creep in, and then we'll start losing our oysters, and most people in our county like to eat oysters. I co-op and work with Commander Shellfish Camp. He's the biggest producer of seedling clams on the east coast of Florida. Right now he's been working with the Mosquito Lagoon Renourishment Project, trying to put clams into that whole area to clean up the water and filter it. Clams filter up to 5 gallons a day. Oysters filter up to 8. It's a big project. He grows mangrove trees, so we have a source for mangrove trees in our county that comes from county paid. We have clams that we can get from him. He has oysters that we can do spat. We have the University of Florida that comes over every couple months and tries to do oyster spawns in his facility. He has the second most state-of-the-art facility in the state of Florida. He trumps University of Florida on that facility. What I'm trying to say is that whole Summer Haven River is the artery to the inlet. I mean, without that, the inlet's been slowly filling up. We used to take a 35-foot commercial boat from my house in Summer Haven and go out the inlet anytime we wanted when I was a kid. Now, I can take my 21-foot flats boat out of that inlet anytime I want, besides low tide. If you go through the main channel in the Matanzas Inlet on the west side of it, up against Rattlesnake, at low tide it is now 5 feet deep. That is very concerning considering last year it was 12. It's getting shallow. It's shallowing up quicker and quicker, and now that we're getting to hurricane season and all the sand that's north of us that's been pushed out is all flowing south. So it's getting more and more congested every year, and me and a lot of the fishing guides are seeing it, and a lot of the guys that harvest oysters, Bubba Price, the grandson of Harry Price that does Price's Oysters, Phil Cubbage does oysters. There's 3 families in our town that does oysters, and we sell out every year and we can't keep up. But a lot of our oysters come from this area, and we're seeing this flow slow down. It used to be St. Augustine Inlet and Matanzas Inlet. When those two waters ran into each other, it was up around the 206 bridge. Now it is all the way down to where we're talking about the sand buildup on the north side where the fort hits the intercoastal. Where all that sand's building up. That's where the meeting of the currents are. So we can visibly see that current is slowing down and getting to the point now where we're getting all the flow from St. Augustine. You think about over 16,000 boats registered in our county. Hundreds and hundreds of them go to the sandbars in Matanzas Inlet. Nobody goes down to Palm Coast canals. Nobody pulls up on their side of the intercoastal with their mud. They all come here. If our inlet closes up, we're going to be the same as Palm Coast. We're going to have that same yucky, dirty water that they have in their canals that nobody goes swimming in. It's the same reason all the guides launch down at Bing's Landing and come to St. Johns County to go fishing around the inlet. That's where the fish are. That's where the area's at. That's where the clean water's at. With that inlet slowing down, we're going to start to lose a lot of that. If you want to add another boat ramp like y'all are trying to do on 312 and add that, Rattlesnake Island would be the perfect place to have deep water access. The closest boat ramp at the south end of the county is Green Road, which has 2 parking spots. And everybody's probably heard of Boat Ramp Billy and all that going on.
Where's that at?
Green Road, it's just south of Crescent Beach. It's actually on Green Road.
I'll check that.
And then there's Butler Beach just north of that. Well, there's Butler Beach, but if you have a 21-foot boat or bigger, you can't get out at low tide. And I know the county's always been working on dredging that out and fixing that. Beautiful dock, beautiful parking lot, no fish cleaning tables, but it's still beautiful. But it's always a problem with getting big boats out there. If you have a big boat in our area, you go to Devil's Elbow. You pay $10 to launch your boat, you pay the fee, safe parking, but you got a deep water boat ramp. That's the only place we have down there. Everybody else goes to Bing Landing. We're losing money going down there. A nice place to put a boat ramp will be right there in Summer Haven. I mean, that's a beautiful area to be launching a boat, plus we have Matanzas Inlet right there for everybody to run in and out of. Thank you all for y'all's time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anybody else? Please.
Yes, I'm Eric Cochran at 281 Barataria. This community has come together in the last 3, 4, 5 years to try to bring this up. They've done a lot of work. It's a huge amount of work that Linda Ginn, Alicia Steinmetz, Denise Cochran, Brian Love, and a bunch of other people down there. And they have come and they put together solutions, right? They put together solutions for the county. They've worked with all the, governmental institutions, and we would really like your support. But if you can't support us, at least don't become an obstacle, right?
So don't become
an obstacle. Because if you come, we are constituents also, right? And not only are we represented Summer Haven, but there's, like Joe said, there are thousands of people out there every weekend. Not just in the inlet, but, in the park over there. And down south, they're crossing the beach and going over Summer Haven Beach. And it's not just people in our neighborhoods that are doing this. It's from all over. In fact, we were in the Bahamas in April. I was talking to a couple and kind of explained where we lived. They said, oh, yeah, we've been there. And I said, well, how did you get there? And I was thinking by boat. They said, no, we came down A1A. That's a beautiful area. And they were from, I don't know, out of state someplace. And I just said, wow, people, know us from different places. So, can't support it, don't become an obstacle. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing nothing? Okay, that brings us to comments by commissioners. Commissioner Bender? No. Commissioner Rivers?
Yes, I'd like to ask Commissioner Blow a question. Could you go?
Yes, sir.
The discussion about the shallowness of Matanzas Inlet, it's come up. Has there been any effort on the county to ask for some funds from FINE to address the dredging of that inlet?
Well, it's the only one of the few natural inlets left on the east coast of Florida. The only thing that we've ever looked at is to do some advanced dredging inside the inlet in order to hopefully capture sand. They're called sand traps. In other words, dredge holes, which would be between kind of in that area of the fort. And the idea, the concept is as that material comes inside the inlet, it would drop out or end up in those holes instead of the channel. Obviously, our engineer, Taylor Engineering, ran a lot of computer modeling on that concept and the economic impact. In other words, would we save money by doing that? And in the end, we determined that there would be no financial savings of dredging sand traps inside the inlet. As far as improving the inlet for navigation, that is not something FINE gets involved in. I think that would be, you would get into the debate about, and I don't even want to touch this, that it's a natural inlet, and I think you might find people that would not want you to do that. But anyway, it's outside FINE's area of responsibility. The only impact we've had is we did look at those sand traps, and they did make economic sense. But I've been sitting here thinking, trying to remember. This board, FINE, did a grant way back when for the Summer Haven River, and I can't remember if it was for engineering and permitting, or if it was for that construction. In other words, dredging out the river. This is when the first breach occurred, and what you had was the river filled on the north end, but it was still open on the south end, say the south half. 2010. And what happened was this board, I believe, we got a FINE grant, and basically we dredged the northern half of the river, and then we had more storms, and what happened were the we had additional storms, it breached on beyond where we had initially dredged. And where I'm leading with this is, hindsight's 20/20. I just wish way back when we had done the whole river instead of just that north half, because I think we would be in a better situation today. But like I say, hindsight's 20/20.
I have a question for, I think, Mr. Harvey, Officer Harvey.
Yes. Yes, sir.
There has been a sailboat on the west end of the Bluno Bridge that keeps bumping into the bridge.
Yes.
Okay, what's the status of that?
The gentleman who owns it has been either re-anchoring it and cited each time for the bridge collision, and he has been paying those citations. As long as he re-anchors each time, we just write him another citation if it breaks free.
Okay.
After the fifth time, then it will be in a derelict status. He's
living on
local.
the boat?
He is not.
Is it a single anchor or two?
It's two now.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Kirker?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. One, I spent an afternoon with these folks at Summerhaven, and the work they've done and the research they've done is simply amazing. And as I said a couple of meetings ago, I think there is a place for the port to help with this. I reached out to County Commissioner Clay Murphy, and he wanted to be here today, but they were still in session at 2:30 this afternoon. They had quite a day of it. But anyway, I'm kind of, we don't talk to each other, so I don't know where everybody stands on this, but I think I'm kind of listening for what's the ask and where's the budget, and maybe there's a way to put that together, working with the county.
That will come from next. The county. Yeah, the request will come from the county, and we believe it's going to be at the August meeting.
Yes.
And that's important because we're budgeting right now, so.
We wanted to give you a background
And a reminder.
Yes.
Reminder of what the river was like.
If you want to annoy them though, and just like send them an email all the time, just keep annoying them and asking for it, that'd be great too. Just have them all in like a group text or something and just hammer away at it.
And my second point is to ask Elise, and I'd be happy to help her with it if necessary, as we go into the budgeting process, the carryover things we've committed. I mean, I'm an accountant, and some of this doesn't make sense the way we present it. So, and also like the, I think this was the fine match, the $100,000. I think the police boat will probably be on a cash basis. We'll spend that money.
It's on a cash basis, but...
Yeah, but we need to know what we promised.
Right. So, yes, and that will...
If we could have
That
some
will come
help.
at the August meeting when I
Yes.
update the budget and show what, we have budget project worksheet, and on the budget worksheet, you guys have to all decide how much you want to spend for the overtimes, the dredgings, and that all has to come from you guys.
Well, but I need the things, the multi-year stuff. That's what I want more clarification on.
As in what we promised this year for next.
Yeah,
It's
and
coming from
last year
next
for next year. This,
We've,
just,
I think we got most except for, I think there was a dredging that we still.
okay, well, let's just look at it so we have everything detailed out so we can make a good decision.
And, well, that's also, on the uncommitted projects, you have to balance a budget, you know that.
Yeah.
All budgets have to be balanced, so if you have a starting and an ending, your income and your expenses have to all balance. So the amounts, these are mostly guesstimates, really.
No, I know, but just, again,
But but here's what we don't spend on expenditures, it goes into The difference goes into unspecified projects. So all that money is sitting there.
Right, and then we end up with reserves, and...
Yeah.
And that, which is good, we have a lot of reserves.
Yes, we do.
So,
But I will look back and see what projects are outstanding. That's basically what you want to know. What projects are
Right.
outstanding and how much it's going to cost.
in which year they're going to fall in.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Flowers?
Yeah, I want to read, since you wouldn't let me speak when they were making their, when I was making my presentation, with my last point from the charter, because y'all heard what it said. Nobody can negate this charter. Not only can we do all of those wonderful things for this district, P of Section 4 states, all of the foregoing powers shall be construed as powers of the commission, and the same shall not be deemed to limit or restrict or to be exclusive. In addition to the enumerated powers hereby conferred upon said commission, it shall have all other powers and can do any and all other things necessary to carry out the objects, purposes, powers herein specified, conferred, promote, advance, etc. We can do anything to help you. My question is this. We can't have the illegal dredging that's going on. It's creating these stagnant holes. Sweetie, I don't know what, you are not aware that people are going behind their homes in South Summer Haven, dredging out the riverbed and putting up a berm in front of their house? Because I sent pictures of it today. We have pictures of that. So if that is going on, it has to stop. I just cannot have things done illegally. You see what happens when we do things illegally? This. You get no help. People look away. There's a nonprofit out there that's very interested in what's going on, and they may get involved with an injunction. I want you guys to please stop dredging without a permit, please. Now, I'm going to say and you haven't come to talk to me. None of y'all caught us. Other people down there have. And like I said, this was put on the agenda so late. It's supposed to be on there 7 days ahead of time. I didn't even know about it. I didn't notice it. So it came in so late that I know some other people would like to have some things to say. But I've read to you what our legal powers are. It's up to you guys, and I will be following up on that too, because again, nobody here can negate that charter. They can't vote to say we don't do that unless it's by resolution. So that's all I want to say to y'all. Call me. I'd love to speak to you. I've got a lot of questions too. And I think that project at North Summer Haven is amazing, but it was so expensive. Do you know that we can go out there and collect grants on top of grants that the county, because we're a totally separate state entity, they can go collect grants and some things so that we don't end up using all our county tax dollars on a big, because I don't think we can do that for less than $15 million. And that is just based on the dredging experience I had in my 4. So I'm here to help. Call me anytime.
With that being done, our next regular meeting will be Thursday, August 20th at 2026. This meeting is adjourned.